Cannonball! So today I'm going to finish building the glass bottle wall. It's going to take all up about 6,000 bottles to do. We're probably about 4,500 bottles in now. So hopefully this weekend I can finish it, because it's taken a couple of weeks. The reason I'm building it is I teach bushcraft on this farm in the Grampians, and I also do charity work. So I have Bellator Fortitudinum, the PTSD first responders group, and they've come down a few times and they're going to keep on coming down, and we're just going to build this up more and more and more and host all sorts of events, you know, camping events, events where people that want to learn prepping come and stuff like that. So I'm known as Australia's most interviewed doomsday prepper. I've done YouTube with such people as Airac against Mr. Beast. I've done the television show Prepping Australia episode 1, and lots of other bits and pieces. I've done YouTube with Anonymous and all sorts of stuff. So today, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put on our work gloves, we're going to start up the generator, we're going to get the cement mixer going, and I'm going to teach you how to build wine bottle walls, and I'm going to show you a lot of tips and tricks that I've never seen anywhere else in the world, that I think I've invented these new ways of doing it. And so as I've been building the wall over a few weeks, I've refined how I do it and how I get certain results that I haven't seen anywhere else on YouTube. So hopefully it brings something to you, hopefully you like them, and hopefully you share them. And I'll try and make this video edited nice and sweet, where it makes sense, you can follow the ball and you can learn loads. Come on, sweetie, let's do it. Rightio. So today we're going to try and finish building this wall. I want to build an arch over there, and I want to finish that end wall there. So I'm building this wall because that's the main road there that goes to the Grampians, which is a big area for tourism. I quite often have PTSD first responders, ex-cops, militaries, ambos, soldiers, stuff like that, staying on the farm. They do free camping here. So this is the camp area that they like in the middle of the farm. It makes it easy to get to the dam and the cooking shack and stuff like that. And it's also a nice part. You've got the mountain over there, that's the Great Dividing Range. The only trouble is, if, you know, fire trucks and whatever come over in bushfires or whatever, it can trigger people that have already got PTSD. So we're just making a nice little relaxed environment here. Some of the tips and tricks that I've got for you today, I've used different colours, different coloured bottles. I've used different coloured oxides. And then even then, like, I still haven't finished, but I've started cleaning these off. So you use wire wheels. All right, that's how they look, like that. And then when they're finished, there's like nothing left on them. And then there's other ones which I'll show you to clean inside the bottles. This is oxide, so this is coloured powder that colours the cement. I got some more of these to stick on drills. Here's some I've already been using. So that one there starts out about that big, and the brass wire brushes just like wear down. That's another nice Josco one. Josco make nice ones. This is a nylon one for cleaning inside the ends of the bottles. So it's a big job. So what you need to know is pretty much this, especially if you're going to try and do this like on a rural farm or something. You're going to need lots of bottles. I mean, you're going to use something like up to 100 bottles per square metre. So I mean, you need a lot of bottles. So what you'll typically do is you'll collect a whole heap of bottles from, you know, pubs and clubs and stuff like that. But then you've got to clean all the labels off and everything. If you don't do that, what happens is, as the mortar gets hot and cold over winter and summer, it will release, and the bottle will just slip out and Swiss cheese your wall. So you've actually got to take that off. That doesn't sound like much, doing 1 or 2. Go do a few thousand and see what it takes. If you want to do it on a commercial scale, right? Like if you're going to do it as a landscaping job or something, you can buy wine bottles that have already got no labels, or if like me, you're lucky, you find some vineyard that's going out of business that's happy to give them to you. That's how I've managed to get all of these wine bottles. So the other things that you want to know is if you want to mix the nice light colours, what you want to use is you want to use this. You want off-white cement. And if you want to make it darker, like greys and blacks and stuff, mix it with black oxide, then you want to use GP cement. So the way that I typically mix this is I'll put a couple of buckets of water in the cement mixer when I get it started. I've got to refuel my generator in a second. And so what you're going to do is you're going to mix 1 cement, 1 hydrated lime, as in 1 shovel of cement, 1 shovel hydrated lime, and about 5 shovels of bricky sand. It's got to be good clean bricky sand, right? And that's how you do it. And then these are oxides and stuff. So you just grab a little handful of that. There's all sorts of colours I've been using, greens and blues. That's $100, that tub. You can't believe it, $100. But if you want a little feature, that's the way to do it. So that's what we're going to do. So hopefully this becomes a nice privacy wall. So east is over in this direction. So where I've started laying these bottles, when it's all cleaned off, you'll see the colours that all come through, because they're all different coloured bottles as well. And then you see how I've been laying these ones around like a corner, and that way as we're sitting here eating breakfast and the sun rises from over there and it sweeps around here, all of those colours are just going to start glistening. Then I've used some old terracotta pipes for drainage holes, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to coloured cement all of this down here, going to build a fire pit there, going to build another table or two, going to build some big boomerang seats. There's going to be a big beehive pizza oven there. Over here I'll put like a little bush kitchen in there, so you can sit there and make pizzas and do bits and pieces. There's going to be an arch over here going like that, so I'll make it go from there like this on a little bit of a curve. And then I'm going to see if I can also put this into the wall, and that way in winter you can sit there and you can cook soups and stuff on there. And then if you want to sit there and smoke meat, you can put smoking chips down there, hang meat up in there, and you can smoke meat as well. So it's a bit of a project, but hopefully it's all worth it. We're going to see. You haven't cleaned the car yet, have you? I gave you one job, so I just look beautiful. I look beautiful, I catch foxes and I bark at people that shouldn't be here. Is that what you do? And chase rabbits. You got a rabbit? Where's the rabbit? A rabbit, you want to get a rabbit? Right, let's do it. So, fill up the generator with some juice, and I'll show you how we get a mix going. So this is a King's generator. This is rated at 3.5 kilowatts or 3,500 watts, so it'll run most appliances. You can even run an 80 amp inverter welder off it in short bursts. It'll only do sort of a centimetre at a time, but you can do it without burning out your generator. If you try and do it like over longer bits than that, you're going to find that the cutout kicks in all the time and you're going to have to get up and down 100 times a day. So what you do is there's a little on switch there. You always got to put a choke on to start something when it's cold like this, a petrol engine. So you put the choke on. First time, every time, I love it. Turn this puppy on. Ooh, you could do a bit of a clean again. So what I need is water. What I've done just to make it easy on myself, my dam's down there, so I needed to fill this rainwater tank up. You're going to go through a fair bit of water doing a project like this. So here I've got a little 1,000 litre tank, and this morning I just pumped water up from the dam. Right, as you tap that around, it'll seal the line on the other side, and then it becomes a solid seal. Right, that's about as much weight as I want to risk on there right now. So then we'll move the whole operation forward to the other side. Okay, you see how that mortar's all dry now? So we're going to wet that off again. Won't hurt to give it all a little sprinkle. And then we might start up this part of the wall now. You just got to give it all a little bit of time to just solidify and dry a bit. And when you get the bits like this, smear it in so it bites in. Grips into whatever rough surface is still there. So what I'm going to do here is where I've wet it all off. I'm going to rub that in. That way I know it's keyed on. get yourself some good gloves. These are heavy duty gloves. So you don't want your Fight Club yellow gloves. This is where you want your heavy duty ones. Right, when it's gone dry, don't just put fresh wet cement on there. Wet it off first. You can't go cold. Right, that's going to help the new mortar stick. Right, so what I've been doing is putting all different colours. That's actually, there's like a blue colour, there's like a green colour, all different oxides. And then at the end I've just been smoothing it in just to point the edges in. Then later on what I'm going to come along and do is like this. I'm going to clean it off with a Josco wire wheel on a grinder and smooth it all off, and even then they still need more cleaning up. So I'm going to put in some sandstone colour. Stay. Now I'm just going to let that firm up for a minute. So I'll have a play over here just while the wind dries that out a little, because I don't want that slumping with all that weight straight away. So you can see with this small trowel how it's really helpful. Like, it just makes it that you can tap everything in. You'll see in a minute when I go between bottles how helpful it is. That way you can point in between the bottles as you lay them. What you're looking for is, if you can, a 2-finger gap. You know, you're not always going to go 2 fingers, but that's what people say is a pretty good amount of mortar. So we're just going to lay all this out. The first couple of courses are shit. So the first couple of courses you're going to feel it on your back. Once you get up to about waist height, that's when it gets easier. I'll give you an idea what the colours all look like on the other side. So you can see all these colours running through here. And then all that cardboard, I'm going to cut the fastenings off it, the strapping, lay it all out smooth, and then I'm going to plant grapevines along here, and then I'm going to move the soil back over, and I've already put some blood and bone. So this here, that's blood and bone fertiliser. And then that way, in the end, grapevines can crawl all over it and do its thing. I've gone really wide with my footings, right? And that way it doesn't have to be dead exact. If you want to make it like I do, that it's got curves, then you know that you're always covered by your footings. So my footings are actually this wide, you see? And that way, if I want it to run a curve, I can run a curve. So my footings are 450 mil wide, and they're about 400 deep. So there's a lot of proper concrete at 25 MPa underneath it. and that way the wall should stay up forever. I'm trying to leave a legacy for my daughter. Normally I use my milk crate for this, but at the moment that wheel's sitting on there. Alright, let's hope that goes somewhere like that. Throw a bit more on for good luck. So a little Hail Mary. Now, in this case, I want that rusty hole to poke through. So hopefully I can lay a bed of cement on the inside as well. Okay, let's hope that stays there. That's a bit better. Now these bottles are already clean. You can't have bottles with the labels on them because apparently what happens is when the water gets hot and cold and wet and dry, where the label will be, there's no seal, it won't hold and it will release. Make sure you've got some water. That just stops the mortar from sticking to your trowel. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to set a bottle in there. Lovely. Right, just going to wet this off a bit, make sure that we're good. Right, as you tap that around, it'll seal the line on the other side and then it becomes a solid seal. Right, that's about as much weight as I want to risk on there right now. So then we'll move the whole operation forward to the other side. Okay, you see how that mortar's all dry now? So we're going to wet that off again. Won't hurt to give it all a little sprinkle. And then we might start up this part of the wall now. You just got to give it all a little bit of time to just solidify and dry a bit. And when you get the bits like this, smear it in so it bites in. Grips into whatever rough surface is still there. So what I'm going to do here is where I've wet it all off. I'm going to rub that in. That way I know it's keyed on.